Hello, I have very exciting news today because Faraj kindly offered his time, and this is the best gift for my birthday. Today is actually my birthday, so thank you very much. And I think we're going to cover lots of interesting things with Faraj. But I think first of all, I would like him to introduce himself because he's really interesting person, and I think we can all learn from him a lot. So Faraj.
Thank you for first, Rafik, for inviting me to this podcast or like YouTube channel. So I'm Faraj. I'm 35 years old, and I started in oil and gas industry. So I have 15 years experience working for big multinationals like BP, ExxonMobil, DNO, Halliburton, Schlumberger. So from 2020, I have moved into crypto part-time first. Now I've moved full-time, and started as a co-founder of a crypto fund, crypto media project, and then I have started my community of crypto executives. So now it's a community of 860 people. It's basically the C-level position people from all over crypto, which I believe it's incredible because I can't imagine having two executives from oil and gas talking to each other because of huge egos. But in crypto, the entire environment is all about collaboration, all about talking to each other, helping each other, and building something from scratch. Apart from that, I'm also CBDO, which is Chief Business Development of AWA. This is a cross-chain data and liquidity protocol. What we do is we build the decentralized bridges between blockchains. So we basically create decentralized bridges for liquidity and data between 8 EVM chains. We used to have Solana as well, and now we decided to add it later along with Algorand and Near, which are non-EVM chains. So yeah, that's shortly about myself.
And I just told you from your Harvard study, right? Today was supposed to be a day off, right?
Yes, so today is a day off of my Harvard Senior Executive Leadership Program. I have petroleum engineering background, so I did my bachelor's and master's in Azerbaijan State Oil Academy. It used to be called back by that name. Then I've done the postgraduate diploma, which is equivalent to master's degree from Heriot-Watt University in UK. Then I did my MBA in Warwick Business School, which is considered #1 distance learning MBA by Financial Times. I've decided to finish my education on a high note.
Well, you never know. Maybe you'll have another one, right? Maybe some PhD or something.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm not looking into that. But I've joined Harvard Senior Executive Leadership Program, Middle East, because I lived for 10 years in the Middle East. That majority of my experience is from here. So I'm doing now the full one-year program with Harvard. Which I believe it's very, very good. I mean, the level of professors, level of teaching in Harvard is incredible. So that's what I do in Harvard.
So I think we both have similar background, right? Both from Baku, both studied in Azerbaijan, in UK, in United States. I think both started from different industry. In my case, it's investment banking. In your case, it's oil industry. And then moved to crypto, which seems to be the place to be now, right?
Right. I believe that crypto as an industry is still in its infancy, yes. Despite being around, some say 10 years, some start counting, starting from DeFi era, which is like 2016, birth of Ethereum. Yeah. But I believe that in this industry, there are no real dinosaurs, people with huge experience that can, and huge groups of people that can actually become a barrier for young startups to build something great. And this is a unique for the entire world. It reminds me of Internet of 1994. Obviously, there are a lot of skeptics, and they are telling me that crypto is all big roller coaster, which will go as a tulip mania to zero.
And there's famous people, right, like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, right? So it's
Absolutely.
definitely very smart people who just say that the greater fool theory, right, that has no value whatsoever.
Yes, and I would say there were a lot of great and smart people back in 1993, 92, 91 saying that internet is just nothing more than a messenger.
Including Bill Gates, actually.
Including Bill Gates, which went full time with Microsoft into internet after Apple also kind of moved there. So I believe that there's a huge potential that crypto can bring to the table, and crypto being, like, I wouldn't say security, but in a way it's just shares or representation or advanced version of shares, holdings of the company, holdings of the utility of what the blockchain as an technology can deliver to the world. And in my opinion, obviously the crypto space is full of scam and full of people that do not know what it is. They try to get rich tomorrow, and that's of course a problem. It's very, like 90% probably of the people who invest in crypto, they just invest it because it's a promise of overnight success, and tomorrow they can buy a Lamborghini. Yeah. In my opinion, blockchain technology itself can eliminate so many intermediaries, both in financial sector, and that's where DeFi is thriving. Despite like huge inflation worldwide, not a single bank can offer even the close interest rate to the inflation itself. It is a huge problem. It shows the inefficiency of the financial system, and that inefficiencies are tried to be solved by some smart protocols which want to bring all unbanked people being banked, being able to access the lending and borrowing and microfinance. At the same time, for the savings and etc., it doesn't stop on finance. It can eliminate so many, smart contract technology, which is part of blockchain, can eliminate so many intermediaries in supply chain, in many other aspects, because it is storage of the information that never can be changed. It is fully transparent system, and you can write a lot of conditions in a smart contract. You can do trade finance with that. The people who knows trade finance, they know how weird and how inefficient
I've
that
been there,
system
done
is.
that, right? So I know.
Absolutely, and that's where the future big unicorn companies would be solving that, and most likely they will come from the crypto space because there is immense technology innovation happening there.
I think it's a huge subject, and I think we can talk about it for hours. Absolutely. Because I think both me and you are very enthusiastic about this space. I believe the genie is out of the bottle. It's definitely not coming back. I think is that I believe we're now at amazingly valuations, because people can enter many projects at very, very attractive valuations. But I agree with you that many of them will magically disappear because it was a scam or had no really underpinning added value. But in order to separate the good from bad, people need to be involved in the projects, in the developments, in the information flows. And I think people, in order to keep finger on the pulse, people need to attend the main events in this industry. And you just came back from Consensus, which my understanding is the biggest event in the crypto world. Yeah. So can you just talk about it? What it is? What was there?
Yeah, to start with, I think it's one of the big events happening. Bitcoin Miami is also like quite large. There are a lot of conferences happening in Lisbon, in Paris. ETH Paris is a big one as well. There are like a number of events in Dubai, like especially in March and in October. But at the same time, Consensus was a 15,000 people event. So the maximum amount of people in Dubai for the events were 7 to 10,000, but in reality, I would say it's around 3 to 5,000 people that would come for those events. So that was felt, and this time it was in Austin, I think for the first time, and you can see the big difference in the quality of the projects being represented there. So elsewhere in other parts of the world, you cannot see Circle representatives, director of treasuries being on the exhibition floor, talking to the ordinary customer. Circle is a company that is basically behind USDC, and they have around $50 billion now in their stablecoin.
People say that it will become bigger than USDT.
I definitely can see that. I see that we will see it this year, and you can discuss whatever is in your mind. You can show your project to him, and you can have a offline meeting later on. That's what we're having with my project. That's what I did. At the same time, you can get connected to the top guys from different protocols. So I met Ilya from Near Protocol, Alex from Aurora. There were guys from Algorand, Avalanche, Chief Product Officer for Subnets. So the level of networking that you have an opportunity to have at those events is immense. So I have met and even had the selfie with Galaxy Digital head, with Pantera head Dan. So and also get connected with his team, and now we're having productive discussions. So that's where the things are happening. My advice to all projects is if they do not have a lot of resources to attend many events, try to get to the top ones. Even if they don't have to be participating in exhibition. It's nice to have, but definitely have 1 or 2 people from the team just walking around, going to the seminars itself, talking to the people from their ecosystem, and going to off-site events. So Consensus is only like two full days. They had one day that was happening in the hotels around the main event, with seminars and talks, the tables, round tables for discussions, panels, and but I went there for the full week to capture all the events that were in between. So before the events, there were like multiple hackathons, like near parties, like 1-inch party. There was and like amount. It's called party, but it's actually a networking event in the evening. So that's a place where you actually meet with people that is not rushing to see another panelists in different hotel, and there is that not good quality discussion that could be had. That's a place where you actually meet the person, you know him better, and that's where networking is happening. So I mean, I would advise others to visit, definitely, and that was a good event.
Very good. And the thing is that I will try to put in the description of this video some kind of the calendar, right? So if you can help me to identify basically the main events where you believe people should go. And so from what I hear from you, it is important from information point of view, but I think networking, man, including the parties, right? As I said, it's probably even more prevailing, right? So for the people who are promoting their projects, I think it's very important to attend. What about people who want to invest? Is there any way, do you think people who are looking to invest into the project, do you think they also should attend these events? Or?
I think yes, because that like investors are looking for high quality projects, and they are usually investing into teams. Mm-hmm. That's what I see not only from crypto funds, because I was co-founder of a fund. I'm now founding my own fund as well to invest in the projects, and it's almost ready. And there you have to know the projects that you're investing, the team is a key component of that, and that's where you can meet both team and have a productive discussion, have a pitch, and see how your connections, your strengths as a fund can actually amplify and increase chances for that particular project to succeed. So there are a lot of funds that are visiting those conferences. That's where a lot of deals are happening. So for example, I had like maybe 3-5 meetings with our current investors in EWA, and also talked to a few other funds and actually landed a deal, possibly two, on that particular consensus event. So that's and that is when Bitcoin is really going down. So it just tells you that there are still funds looking to invest. So that's definitely a case. Like funds and investors also should attend those events.
So basically, you preempted my question. So I think is that again, the market environment is not particularly friendly to the investors into the new projects. But as you said, there's still the pipeline. But overall, from your conversation with the funds, what do you see their point of view? Is like wait and see, or what do they say actually?
Majority are wait and see, and the reason is that at this particular environment, the investments that they made before do not bring them the cash flow, so they do not have an ability to reinvest.
So basically, they're more or less fully invested, right?
I would say even if they are not, they are very careful about investments happening now, because the chances for projects to succeed is way slower. They cannot rely on the fact that in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, they could finish their private rounds or seed rounds that they're investing now as well. So it's like the funds are not coming in because other funds are not coming in. This creates a vicious cycle where no one is investing just because the chances for startups to survive are low. So it doesn't tell you that they do not invest at all. They do, but only in those that they see that the team is prepared, that the solution is needed by the market, that there is an instant, that the projects are almost ready for completion. They can assess that. There is a test net, probably there is a main net also on where they can evaluate the total value locked of the project. They can evaluate the cash flow. They can see that it can actually be scaled up. So that's where the projects are coming in and investing. Another one is when they're having a backing of top protocols. That's where the connections are also happening, are important. And when they have a backing of top protocols, and protocols usually are very well funded. So it's like hundreds of millions of dollars that some of the protocols have raised. So they have money to invest in the ecosystem. So, and if they see the funding from the protocol, it means that maybe the team is very well connected with the founders of the protocol, or they have support technically. So the investors are way more easier to come in and commit their capital there. So what I've noticed is that over the last few years, the big investors became more prevalent. Like everyone, at least on the previous crypto summer, was looking whether Pantera or Galaxy or big guys, Dragonfly, etc., have invested or not. So if they see the big names, oh, so this project will survive and this project will hit. And if that project was launched during the crypto summer, obviously any investor would get 10x, 20x, whatever return. So that paradigm is now shifting towards the quality long infrastructure players, maybe to the players that are working in the current hype environment. So a few months ago, even the crypto, I would say, autumn has started, or it's actually like run to earn, or STEPN type fitness apps became like really popular. There were a lot of copycats that started, and that's where you basically see a lot of investments going, and everyone was looking to invest in the next step. Before that, there was a GameFi, and before that there was NFT Mania.
This is like the fashions, right? Going in and
It's
out.
like true. It's like a fashion. It is hype. It's building from hype to hype to hype. However, there is always a space for a big infrastructure player. So, and usually those type of teams, they emerge from the crypto winter. So for the veterans of the industry who are here from 2016, and that's as a veteran, who at least have seen 2 cycles, they know that the time to look for good projects and good investments is actually the crypto winter. Valuations are low, the projects are way easier to take your capital, because in crypto summer they will not take your capital if you are not a tier 1 or 2 fund, so you have to be very imaginative to get allocations in some projects. You can get listed to top exchanges quite easier. The top exchanges wouldn't take you if you were not the top 1 project. So everything was revolving around like these top tier projects that would get huge returns, and no one would be no one would have an easy access to. In crypto's winter, all the hype is away. Everyone is trying to survive. The people who came here for quick buck usually leave. The entire place dries down, and obviously there are a lot of projects who fail, especially those who didn't build any cash reserves. So even good ones. So and that is the risk. And one of the good things about the crypto industry, that's anti-fragile. There's no one to save it. Like in banking industry in 2008.
Bailouts, right? I remember that.
Yes, the big players that were acting very, very badly, they were saved by the taxpayers.
I remember I was working for BNP Paribas, and BNP Paribas chipped into saving of LTCM and many other banks.
Yeah, so LTCM is another story about how the Nobel laureates and very smart people could get into several, hundreds of billions in the trouble and require a bailout. I think overall, like there is no one to save, so every time the crash is happening, it is huge devastation, but from this rubble, the new phoenixes build up.
Well, my personal theory is that, let's say, for example, we have the same situation in the United States with the railroad system in 19th century, beginning of 20th century. I personally observed that with internet, when it was complete bullshit projects, in the first wave, and the second wave brought to us everything from Amazon to Google to Yahoo and other projects that we're now enjoying the fruits of. It looks like, for example, that for blockchain projects, for crypto projects, we're now going at least for the second, if not the third wave. So majority of the rubbish, the quality ratio will become significantly better, number of projects will be less.
Absolutely. I think I was telling this, that people underestimate the short-term, the long-term impacts of the technology. So they but overestimate the short-term impact. So with internet, the pets.com was like $300 or $600 million valuation, because they were promising that all the pets in the world, all the owners will be using their website. And the similar happens with a lot of crypto startups. They come up with a pitch that we will change the way how supply chain industry in the world operates, which, for example, VeChain. And this is not realistic. You try to fix one company to start with, and then you try to do something else. There is like a project like Enegra, which is trying to tokenize the entire mining company. And an amount of success there is mixed. They're trying to now sort this the commodity trade side to be able to unlock their potential. So, but on the other side, the people underestimate the long-term impact. If you would ask in 1994 any person that, would you imagine that in 10 years time or 15 years time all your banking will be done digitally?
Nobody will believe.
So that your bank actually will close 90% of the branches all over this, and actually there will be countries where you cannot pay cash. People will say that you are actually out of your mind, you have to visit the doctor. So I think the similar type thing is with similar type we see with crypto and any other, or I would say blockchain technology and any other technologies that potentially could change the world, with like AI, for example.
Overall, basically, you mentioned several times we're in the kind of middle of the crypto winter. What was the kind of overall mood of consensus? People were cautiously optimistic, or people were sad? What was the atmosphere?
I don't know the reason behind optimism, but people were really optimistic over there. I was expecting actually opposite because of the drop of the Bitcoin. I would say that the big drop from 24, 26 to 19 happened like after consensus ended, like on around 13th. So, however, you could feel that people came there and they're actually building a lot of projects. It's not like they're all talking about how I should change the industry. It's actually that we have this idea, we are having some funds. So was it because the people that went there already have some funding? I don't know. There is 15,000 people that showed up. They paid quite a good amount of money for compared to other events just to be there. But on the other side, I just think maybe it is US thing. Because majority of the companies were US based. US people in general are more optimistic about the future than others. So perhaps that was the reason, but I definitely seen a lot of optimism and a lot of people that would be like looking positively in the future. However, I would say that the investors were not very optimistic.
I can imagine, because many of them are in negative territory now.
Yes, so the guys who really lost money and feel the pain, they are not willing, of course, to invest in every single project that they've made, and they think it's good. So they take their time, they go into deep due diligence on the project, on the team, and that's where maybe you can see some effects.
Final question, slightly away from the subject, but I'm just trying to ask everyone because I'm getting asked all the time. So, for example, one of my friends asked me a question: if you would now need to buy some crypto and forget about it. He says, I just want to buy and forget about it for a few years, right? Because watching the volatility. So, if you would now invest into several projects, like top 4 or 5, starting from Bitcoin, Ethereum, whichever, right? If it will be like 4 or 5 projects that you would invest long term with the current valuations, what projects would be?
First, I'm not a financial advisor, so
I understand. It's just for like
I cannot advise people, and I will tell you what I would say first. I would say that if you're asking me this question, perhaps you should invest in none. You know, I believe that only the people that do their own research, that they really spend their time, like I've invested in my first crypto after maybe a year of being into it. And yes, I'm more actually willing to invest now because it's actually winter. So you do not see extraordinary valuations. Like you saw Bitcoin being 69,000, now it is 18,000, 20,000. Is it a good value? Yes. So is there a is there a higher chance that Bitcoin will go back to its original 60, 40, whatever, and you would make some money? Yes.
But there's also risk on the downside, I think, still.
On the downside, obviously, you should not invest anything in the crypto if you cannot, if you would have not an easy heart of that particular sum going to zero.
Yeah.
So if you have some money that you wanted to spend in Las Vegas, you know, and you wouldn't like mind putting in it a crypto, I personally would invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum, like 40-40, and the 20%, if you're a risky person, you want to put a bet on the projects that you make your research on, you really feel that they can get. So my favorites are blockchain of blockchains and the people that are building some sophisticated technologies like Near and Avalanche.
What about Solana?
So Solana is another one. Every breakdown of Solana, I'm less and less confident, obviously. But the good thing about those type of projects, Solana, Near, and Avalanche, and Polkadot, and Cosmos, for example, that they are well funded. So there is huge ecosystem funds that are supporting them. It doesn't mean that they cannot go down similarly to Luna and Terra, especially if they start doing some crazy stuff with algorithmic stable coins, like what Tron does now. And in my opinion, Tron is taking big risks. But at the same time, any of those big blockchain projects can just go and become the next big thing. And Solana is one of the good examples of that. They have Jump Capital backing, where the wormhole hack cost 350 million or whatever, close to that number. And it was just immediately paid by one venture capital company. So just to save wormhole along with Solana. And that gives you confidence that this protocol will not be allowed to go down easily. However, whether you want to invest in a project that already had such hack in the past or allowed for such hack to happen.
Well, Napoleon was saying 1 bitten person is worth 2 non-bitten, right? So
yes, some other people would say that the ship with a hole in it, that was fixed, is it better or worse than the ship that without the hole? So that's
maybe with the hole to come,
So yes, but definitely, if people learn from their mistakes, they should emerge stronger. That's a principle of anti-fragility.
Fair enough, fair enough. So basically, executive summary, I think again, the whole channel is for education and entertainment purposes. It's not an investment channel. So people have to do their own research. Nobody canceled diversification, right? So one have to have diversified portfolio. From my point of view, it's now we have asymmetric bet. So there's a downside, but the upside, I think, is asymmetrically big compared with downside. And I think it's now amazing opportunity to invest into well-funded projects at really attractive valuations. That will be the summary. Excellent.
And last one is again, do not rush with investments. Make your own research. Try to watch as much educational content. I say again, educational. Yes, the one that is not selling you anything, but educational content on the project that you want to invest. Try to go and meet with a team. Discuss, be part of it if you can.
And if not, it's relatively cheap. I think it's $99 for virtual pass to Consensus. So many investors can, for relatively small money, can virtually be present on the events like this, right?
Absolutely, and those events will give you immense knowledge. So, for example, the people that are attending the event, they have to be physically in 5 spaces to be able to watch it all. And usually after having been in Consensus, they will not go back in time and then will try to view every session online. If you have bought an online pass and you're sitting at home, maybe in Bali or wherever, and you actually are better chance to get actually the knowledge out of it rather than networking. For networking, you can use Telegram groups. You can go and meet with people in your own town. Try to get a community running. Start your own community. That's how I started, on the big scale in crypto, when I started my community of crypto executives, and you will learn a lot for sure.
Faraz, thank you very much for the information that you shared with us. It was a really interesting interview. I enjoyed it. I hope many people will learn from it. For me, it's the best birthday gift. So thank you very much for your time. And I welcome the comments. And let's stay in crypto together. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.